How can a woman be so wealthy, so beautiful, so kind and loving yet so lonely? By daylight, Mara Ellington was untouchable. CEO of Ellington Dynamics, feared and admired for her poise and commanding intellect. At board meetings, no one dared challenge her, and in glossy magazines, she was crowned the empire's dazzling queen. But at night, the fortress crumbled. Alone in her luxury penthouse, Mara would stare at the city's glow through tear-blurred eyes, longing for someone who saw beyond the silk dresses and diamond shields. Every suitor who approached her seemed molded from the same cold marble, arrogant, entitled billionaires who wanted her status, not her heart. Every morning, she retreated to a humble coffee shop, Mellow Beans, to nurse a croissant and cappuccino in peace. She barely noticed the quiet server who watched her with soft, awestruck eyes. Silas, a young man who trembled in his apron whenever she entered. She was beauty wrapped in ice. He was a nobody, too afraid even to greet her properly. But today, something burned in Silas that refused to be silenced. Silas couldn't sleep the night before. He'd decided he was done hiding. Today, he would take Mara's order himself, even if his heart burst from terror. As he approached her table, his trembling hands steadied, breath measured. But destiny twisted the moment. Mara's younger sister, Serena, waltzed in with her smug husband, Adrian. They shoved past Mara, sneering, "We're a couple, serve us first." Mara looked down in humiliation, used to Serena's petty cruelty. Rage flashed in Silas's chest. Without thinking, he dashed to the back, tore off his apron, and pulled on a spare tailored blazer he'd saved for interviews. Moments later, he re-emerged looking every bit a refined gentleman. Striding to Mara, he grabbed her hand with effortless confidence. "Sweetheart, you done? I've been waiting for you," he said. The words left Mara stunned, eyes wide. Serena and Adrian froze, shocked that the perfect Mara had apparently been hiding a breathtakingly handsome lover. They retreated, embarrassed, leaving Silas and Mara in an awkward silence. Mara could hardly breathe. This impossibly attractive man, speaking so protectively, seemed to melt her frozen heart. Her mind spun as she tried to process what was happening. Silas, heart hammering, led her out of the cafe, still holding her hand, hoping she wouldn't recognize him as the shy server. "Who are you really?" she finally asked, voice shaking. Silas panicked. "Just someone who cares," he lied. He offered to walk her to her office, and she accepted, disoriented but grateful. The look on Serena's face replayed in her mind like a delicious revenge. Over the next days, Mara kept returning to the cafe, this time seeking out Silas. They sat together, sharing pastries and stories. Silas invented details about his wealthy lifestyle, feeding the illusion. Guilt gnawed at him with every lie, but he couldn't stop. Her laughter, so genuine around him, felt like a miracle he couldn't throw away. And so the masquerade went on, even as his heart begged him to confess. Serena could not let it go. Enraged that her sister might finally find happiness, and with someone so devastatingly handsome, she hired a private investigator. The goal wasn't to protect Mara but to humiliate her. She wanted to expose any flaw in this mystery man and rip Mara's peace to shreds. The investigator, Milo, was ruthless and thorough, digging through Silas's records, financials, and daily routines. In just days, Milo discovered Silas's real identity: a broke barista living in a one-room rental with dreams bigger than his wallet. Serena smirked, satisfied. She would time her reveal perfectly. Meanwhile, Mara and Silas grew closer. He told her he admired her strength. She opened up about her pain. In those stolen moments, Silas felt like the man she deserved, even if the truth said otherwise. Every night he rehearsed how to tell her, but the words stayed trapped in his throat, terrified she'd abandon him if she knew. Milo delivered his findings to Serena with glee, laying out photos of Silas in his barista uniform, receipts from his cheap apartment, and even his meager bank balance. Serena's laughter was cruel, echoing through her marble kitchen. "Oh, Mara will break," she purred. Serena began dropping hints, making sly remarks around Mara about gold-digging scum and fake lovers. Mara brushed them off, refusing to let Serena's bitterness poison her happiness. But seeds of doubt took root in her heart. Silas, meanwhile, sensed her confusion. He felt the tightening noose of his own lies choking him. His dreams were in conflict. He wanted to be the man Mara believed him to be, yet every day he was reminded of his unworthy reality. Serena circled them like a vulture, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The tension built so thick Silas thought it might crush him. But he couldn't walk away, not when he'd finally touched love. The day came when Serena could no longer resist. She confronted Mara at a charity gala, flaunting Milo's folder like a trophy. "Ask your Prince Charming where he lives," she sneered, tossing photos onto the mirrored table. Mara's stomach dropped as she saw Silas, her Silas, in his cafe uniform washing dishes, face tired and defeated. Everything inside her splintered. She felt sick, betrayed, humiliated. When she confronted Silas afterward, he fell to his knees, tears streaming. "I never meant to lie," he sobbed. "I just wanted to protect you. I wanted to be enough for you." Mara's heart twisted painfully, torn between fury and the memory of the gentle man who had made her feel seen. "You broke my trust," she whispered. Silas nodded, silent, shoulders shaking. The glittering world around them blurred, leaving only their raw pain. The mask was gone, and so was the illusion that had briefly healed them both. Mara shut herself away, haunted by shame. Her perfect control had failed her once again. Could she ever truly trust anyone? Nights were colder than ever. Silas tried to reach her, writing apology after apology, but she wouldn't reply. Serena, smug in her triumph, celebrated while Mara spiraled. But slowly, Mara remembered the way Silas had shielded her that day. No one had ever done that. She reviewed their conversations, seeing how authentic his heart had been despite the lie. Wasn't that what she'd wanted all along? Someone who saw her. Maybe she had also worn a mask, the Ice Queen mask that refused to be vulnerable. As the days passed, Mara's resentment began to fade, replaced by an ache for what they'd shared. Silas, meanwhile, was a shell of himself, working double shifts just to drown the guilt. He would have given anything to rewrite the moment he lied, but fate gave him no such mercy. The rain fell in steady sheets, drumming on the city like a heartbeat, as Mara stood outside Mellow Beans clutching a pale umbrella. Her mind warred with itself, 100 questions tearing at her resolve. But the memory of Silas, his gentleness, his desperate eyes, the way he'd shielded her from Serena's cruelty, burned through the noise. She pushed open the cafe's glass door, stepping into the warmth, heart pounding so hard it hurt. Silas stood behind the counter, shoulders slumped, wiping a mug with the mechanical exhaustion of a man haunted by regret. When he saw her, his hand froze mid-motion, the mug slipping and shattering on the floor. His eyes were hollow, red from countless sleepless nights, but a faint spark lit up as he met her gaze. "Mara," he breathed, voice breaking. She took a trembling step forward, her throat tight. "Silas, I didn't know if I could face you. You hurt me." He nodded, shame flooding his face. "I know. I lied to you. I was afraid. Afraid you'd never look at me if you saw me for who I really was." Mara's lips quivered. "Do you know how many people see me for my money and power? How many treat me like I'm something to own? I trusted you because you were different." Silas's voice cracked. "I tried to be enough. I wanted to be your equal, to protect you. I should have told you the truth." A silence stretched between them, painful and raw. Mara's hands shook as she lowered her umbrella, the rain dripping from its edges. "I hated you," she whispered, eyes wet. "But I missed you even more." Silas stepped closer, tears rolling down his cheeks. "If I could take back the lie, I would. I'd rather be nobody and stand by you honestly than wear 1,000 masks." Mara reached for his hand, the contact sending a jolt through both of them. "Then stand by me," she said, voice shaking. "But no more masks, Silas. No more illusions." A sob tore from Silas's chest as he pulled her into his arms, holding her like she was something precious he'd nearly lost forever. She buried her face against him, inhaling the familiar, comforting scent of coffee and rain-soaked earth. Outside, lightning flashed over the rooftops, but within mellow beams, the world felt hushed and forgiving. No titles, no trophies. Only two flawed people willing to try again, to heal what had been broken. Mara looked up into Silas's tear-bright eyes and saw the truth there. An honest, imperfect love that no money could ever buy. And for the first time in years, her heart felt whole.